and not just veterans themselves?
That's a great question. Actually, that's my specialty now. Been family practice for over 40 years. I guess given medical school, but 35 years of practice, and I've always done various levels of alternative medicine. But I myself had a traumatic event happen, and I went through a lot of therapy. Had to even do hyperbarics to try and get part of my brain function back. And what brought back the quickness, okay, through that term again, neuroplasticity, was cannabis. Now, cannabis can be used in many different ways. Like you said, it doesn't help everybody. And a lot of people have problems with it because they get on doses that are too strong. You're always supposed to start very, very low. And in Georgia, we have just expanded the program so that it makes a lot more sense, not only to the general public, but even to physicians, because physicians were confused. Right now, we have a system where it's done on percentages. So you're saying there's a percentage of THC within this bottle. But when I take a certain amount of it, what am I actually taking? You're taking a percentage, is what it comes out to be, right? But you're actually taking a milligram dose. And we understand milligram dosages. Now, what does Dr. Alexander mean by that? What I mean is this. If I send you to the store to get Tylenol, I'll tell you get 500 milligrams. And I'll tell you take either one or two of those. If you take two, you're taking 1,000 milligrams. We know exactly what you're taking. If I tell you to go take a percentage, how many milligrams is that? We can't talk the same language when we're talking about treating you. Now, when it comes to cannabis, most people only need about 2.5 to 10 milligrams. We call that microdosing to begin to affect their condition. You can't do that with percentage. You can do it with milligram doses. So now we all understand. And we're able to treat more effectively. And those people who have been having bad experiences, a lot of times what we're able to do is with microdosing, show them how it does work and how we can help their anxiety, their sleep, their PTSD, their muscle spasms, their seizures, their migraines. We have different formulations. And I will give Georgia a lot of credit. They have opened up this year, if the governor signs it, it's on his desk, ready to be signed, that one, we're going to change the name of the program in Georgia. It's no longer low THC program, because we don't know what that is. It's going to be called the Medical Marijuana Program. It's number one. Number two, we're going to use milligram dosing. So everybody is speaking the same language. If I tell you to go to 2.5 milligrams, you know I'm going to get 2.5 milligrams, not how many drops do I take, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or this many drops is equal to 2.5 milligrams. How about that? The other is we are going to expand the education, because by itself, cannabis is not going to cure anybody. But with the therapy, putting them back in therapy, now we can get help for people. And there's more things that go along with this program, and we can talk about it later.
Correct.
But those are the highlights.
Now, I've went to states where cannabis are legal, and people don't realize these dispensaries create good paying jobs for individuals who work in dispensaries. I stopped. There's the border of Colorado and Nebraska, and it was a small town, and I promise you, it was nothing there. Nothing, like nothing. If you want to go and disappear from the mob, if you got in trouble, that's where you would go. You'll go there. Nobody's going to think of you being there. And these guys, you'll think, oh my man, they poor, they whatever. There's a few dispensaries right before, because Nebraska is illegal. Colorado is legal. So these people live in Nebraska and they're working in Colorado and they're living good. Even though it's an $18, $20 hour job, that's how much business they're getting. So that actually helps the community as well, because now you have your bud tenders, even though they're doing it on medicinal purposes, they actually can have a good, decent, living wage with the right education that they have to go through and everything to be a bud tender and these dispensaries. So that would also help the doctors as well, because now y'all could prescribe and they can go to that dispensary and it works hand in hand for that person. And I'm going to speak one more time on the veteran. I know a couple of vets that do use cannabis, and a lot of us that use it, we all say the same thing. It helps. It helps. Now, what I learned on I guess you want to say self-therapy of it, I had to stop drinking for it to really help me a lot better, because alcohol is a downer, and they try to say cannabis is a downer, which is really not. It levels you. and it gives you more of a euphoria than alcohol does, right? So how would you address somebody who might be suffering with alcoholism, who might want to switch to cannabis? How would you address them in that situation as a physician?
So we are using cannabis for various types of addiction. Alcohol addiction is not one of the high. It's not high on the list as far as being able to transfer because alcohol affects you in a different way. Alcohol is very destructive to the body. Whereas cannabis, actually, in a lot of ways, is one of the repair things we use.
Hmm.
Um, we actually have a system in our body called the endocannabinoid system, where our body already produces chemicals that are very similar to what's in the plant. And so that's why it works so effectively. Alcohol, on the other hand, we don't have a system. We don't have an alcohol system that it mimics. You know, we have chemicals that can mimic that. So when you drink alcohol, it will give an effect on the body, but it it more so than being just a downer, it affects your mind in a way that you can actually lose your ability to think clearly. With cannabis, we're not finding the same thing, at least at medical dosages.
Yes.
Okay, we're finding out that here's the thing: the endocannabinoid system. What it's supposed to do is balance your action system, your fight or flight system. And what happens to a lot of veterans who have PTSD is that their system is over revved up, and the endocannabinoid system is supposed to bring them back in line. It is it it.
Preach. It's okay.
Trying to think of the right terms. Oh, it it brings it back in line. We call it homeostasis.
Hmm.
Okay, so it takes you from a high to more level. All right, you become more level.
Yes.
With alcohol, that's not the case,
Mm-mm.
and so there's not a good cannabis program to get people off of that. But on the other hand, when you start talking about opioids, narcotics,
Mm.
those products, cannabis is finding a home. We are using it to actually wean people off of those drugs, and they're finding out that they feel better, and they're more lucid, and they're more valuable to their community.
Okay. Okay. Now, last question. Last question. Last question.